Okay, we have the cider press ready. It used to be a hand press, but we got a motor on it here. And spray it down with some bleach, and we'll rinse it out. This is a beautiful old heritage farm down in southern Ontario, Curtis. Beautiful old apple trees, grapes, and I've been picking. It's 17th of October, I believe. Had my grandson pick for me, and we've got here's some beautiful russet apples, and we also have some great Macintosh. We wanted to get these in before the hard frost. We did have a light frost last night. Beautiful organic apples. We have some spy apples in here as well. The grapes are even still good. This was the old root cellar under the house. There were the cider barrels used to be. Could make a significant amount of cider, and then apple cider vinegar as well. So this will just be actually a sampling of apples for cider. Maybe I'll go and pick some while he's at the store again. But some of them I'm going to take home to dry. Probably these two. And dry them and eat them. For apple cider, when you're doing the apples, you don't want to include any leaves. So you want to take all the leaves out of the apples, and much of the wood, although you don't have to worry about the little stems. It's like the birds are starting to enjoy these sunflowers. Okay, we got the motor going. Now we've got to be careful not to get your fingers in there. And we have put the apples in there and then press down with this. Oh, spread it out. Let it drain, and when it slows down, just give it a few more cranks. Now he has a much larger cider press than this, but for this amount we're using the small one. Here's just a close-up of this apple crusher. Be careful not to get your fingers in there or let them slip down like that. And keep your hands and clothing clear of this wheel. Put some cheesecloth on and into the bale.
Is that double?
Doubled, I did double it, yeah. Back up the chute. We didn't take any of these apples out because not that many, less steps. So you tighten it up and press it a little more and wait for a while till it runs, slows down, and then start tightening it up again. This bottom board was a little rotten, so he put some black plastic and another piece of board over it to fix it. Now he said that you can take the roughage from the apples and put it out for the deer. They like it. He also said that you can get more juice out of it if you leave the old crushed ones in there. Make better use of the juice. This is Mother of Vinegar. It's a jar 10 years old. It has this jelly-like film that comes on the top of the vinegar when you make it, and then you can start your next vinegar with it after the hard liquors stage is finished. About how many months would you say? So I filled the jar about like my friend told me, and it's going to be a fast ferment. I think he called it a wild ferment. So for a little while before I put the cap on, and nothing else needed, just the apple juice. And to get lots, you can use the cider press. For now, I've covered it with cheesecloth so that it can ferment while keeping the bugs out, like fruit flies. I'll have to siphon some of this off, not siphon, but pour some of this off, probably down to about here is good. And it's October 20 and the wild ferment has begun with these, and you see how the cheesecloth is keeping out these fruit flies who are just enjoying a good whiff, I suppose. Yes, so once this stops the wild ferment, I can top up this and probably one of these. And now never put the cap right on when you got the apple juice in, because this bottle will explode. You need to let the air flow freely through the cheesecloth or a bubbler. Now the two smaller ones have settled down, and this big one is really bubbling now. I decided to ferment this extra jar as well. October 22nd, and I can see actually a shadow here, ends down here. Now these bottles are not like that. They've finished their wild ferment. This one's not quite finished, so just interesting to note. There's also sediment at the bottom here. October 23rd, and it looks like this wild ferment has finished for the large bottles, so I'm going to take and top up the bottles. Here I've filled up the bottles, topped them up, and put the airlock on. And there was a little left over of soft cider to drink. Well, on December 1st, I moved my cider jars into a basement. So I'm now operating at 2 farms. So apparently you don't want to let the, you don't want to put the mother of vinegar in until it's completely stopped fermenting. And it looks in the cold that there are no more bubbles or fermenting, but I'll actually bring this smaller jug up into the warmth and see and make sure that it's completed its ferment process. And sure enough, it's not fermenting anymore after a day in room temperature. No bubbles. So it's turning into vinegar now. Time to add the mother. It's February. So at this point, if you wanted hard cider, you would bottle it now. But because we're looking for vinegar, we'll expose it to the air, put some cheesecloth over after we put some of the mother of vinegar in to help it along. So I siphoned some from this smaller jug to give a better air surface. Put it into this other jar, and I siphoned more off the larger jug to give it a better surface. Now we have 3 containers with a good surface area. The temperatures should be stable, and this bottle is room temperature where this one is cold, so I'll just wait until this one is room temperature to add the mother to that one, And I'll try the larger one downstairs cold and see how that works. Okay, I've added the mother. It's sunk to the bottom, but I'm not going to worry about that. And I'm going to add just a little bit more of the vinegar, the old vinegar, and this should be good. Got the cheesecloth on to let the air in and put it at room temperature and begin the process. You don't really have to put the mother of vinegar in the hard cider. Just expose it to air, protect the cheesecloth, and it'll create its own mother. The level has been lowered in this jar to give a larger surface area, and I think I'll add the mother to this one even though it's in a colder location. It may just take a longer time to become vinegar. So it's Valentine's Day, and I'll just mark at the calendar when I put the mother of vinegar into my batch. My 3 different batches of apple cider vinegar will probably mature at different rates, but apple cider vinegar will have a pH of about 4.25 to 5. The lower the pH, the more acid the vinegar is. So we'll be testing that from time to time. So actually I decided to bring them all into an area with stable, warm temperatures, consistent room temperature, because somebody told me that they had a batch downstairs and they found in the cold it didn't do so well. So this is a large amount and I want it to do well. And just a note here that the mother of vinegar floated to the top. It's March 6th and the vinegar is producing its own mother on the top here. You see floating. I had added a little bit of mother of vinegar to this batch. I had added the mother of vinegar to this batch, and you can see that it is producing some mother. And this one I didn't add any, and it's also producing mother of vinegar, the film at the top. So we'll see again how soon it develops into the right potency of vinegar. It will take about 3 or 4 weeks for this to become vinegar. You can smell it to find out whether it's got a vinegar smell, and you can also taste it to see the strength that you like. I notice this mother of vinegar has dropped to the bottom again, but I'm not going to worry too much. Some say to go ahead and stir this daily, but I'm not going to. Test the apple cider vinegar with a pH strip. Apple cider vinegar will have a pH of about 4.25 to 5. The lower the pH, the more acid the vinegar is. You want to have it for regular vinegar about 5%, which that would be about 4.5 pH. And if you want to pickle things like green beans, you'll want to go up to 7%. Once you get the right strength, you filter it. Filter out the mother with coffee filter or cheesecloth, several layers of cheesecloth, and bottle it in clean jars or clean bottles and cap it. And this vinegar will last for years and years and years if it can last that long without you using it. The mother of vinegar and the old vinegar that I used to start these 2 jars I didn't put any in this jar. We'll see what happens what the time difference is. But the vinegar was it was 10 years old, and it was the most delicious vinegar I'd ever tasted. It's now April the 18th, and I'm going to test the pH of my apple cider vinegar with this pH test strip kit from the pharmacy. This is the vinegar that I actually didn't put any mother of vinegar in this. Let's see what the pH is. Looks like about 3. Yeah, I'd say that's probably about 3. Larger bottle, it's looks like about the same, but it could pass for 4. This third jug here is about the same as well. These 2 jugs I did add some mother, maybe not as much as was necessary, but they're all developing the same, even though this one had no mother at all added to it. So if it's the lower the pH is, the higher level of acid, I guess we're heading in the right. It's about 1 year since we crushed these apples, and it's just near the end of November, and I would say these are done. Let me take a look at this one. It looks a little bit murky, but good, I'm sure. This one's down. I think I must have been using some. It's a little murky, but good. This one, strangely, is clear, and I've been using this already. So I'm taking this litmus paper just to check the pH. I'm going to see if it's just between 2 and 3, which would give you 2.5, which is about the pH we're looking for. Okay, so I'm just going to dip it in. And I believe we're there. I've started cleaning some bottles. Bottles should be clean, but they don't need to be sterilized, but make sure they're good and clean. You don't need sterilization because vinegar takes care of bacteria fairly well. This is a little tube I'm going to be putting in there. I have a flexible tube attached to it to siphon. So I've bottled some, and I'll just put it, you can put it anywhere to store it. The longer you store it, the better it gets. I'm just going to put it down in the cold cellar. We've siphoned this much off, and we got plenty to go, so I'll need lots of containers here. Apparently the ideal acidic level of apple cider vinegar is about 5 or 5.5% of the acid. Now, I'm just guessing, or someone told me that 2.5 is about what we're looking for pH in order to have that level of acid in the apple cider. But if you want to pickle beans or things like that, you can let the apple cider go all the way to its top acid level by letting it go a little longer and reaching 7% acid level. Again, I just want to show you what I have here, this glass that I can just put right down into the jug, and here we go. And you just cap it so that the oxygen won't reach the vinegar. The oxygen is what has it create more acidity, but we'll stop it right there by capping it. You can bend this tube, or you can just use a clean finger. Oh, that brought it down a bit, and what I'm going to do is take this extra vinegar, put it all in one batch, and let that all go to 7% acid level. See how this tube at the bottom here will keep the sediment from getting into the batches. And as I poured this one in, you can see now there's the mother of vinegar. So this jar that didn't have the mother added to it, it fermented just fine and turned into vinegar. It was a little bit murkier. I'm not sure why. Maybe that's why. Maybe because there was no mother added to it. But here I've put it all in here. The sediment should settle. I'll continue to let the air get at this batch, and it will go up to a maximum of 7% acetic acid, which is perfect for pickling beans. And although fruit flies can sometimes affect fermentation, it's usually, I wouldn't worry too much about it because it's usually a beneficial effect. Vinegar also makes great pickled eggs. Though some people prefer the white vinegar for pickled eggs, I find that the apple cider vinegar gives it to me, a nicer flavor, and it's definitely healthier than the white vinegar. It's June the 1st, and I am finishing off my video for apple cider vinegar. I'm going to do a final test with the litmus paper. I've just poured some of the vinegar into this bowl, and it looks like we're still at about 3 pH, which could mean that we've reached all the way down to, or up to the highest acid level, which is 7, because it doesn't seem to be getting any lower pH, which means it's possibly the highest level at 3. So nonetheless, although it's been a little confusing testing for the pH, the vinegar I've been using is very good, and I'll just strain the rest of this and bottle it sometime soon. So I hope you've enjoyed my little experiment making apple cider vinegar. I find it goes very well in my olive oil and apple cider vinegar and a little bit of lemon salad dressing. I sometimes use it in my hummus. And I use about a half and half of apple cider vinegar and olive oil for my potato salads.